up there, it's waved, and without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, for the second round of the season, it is time for the Caterham Academy Championship drivers to 3, 2, 1. And it's lights out, away they go.
We've got another small driver. They're going to avoid it. They have managed to get around, so well done. That was one of our front row drivers again, I think.
Indeed, I think that was Tom Stanton there not getting away, but well done to everyone, like you say, for taking that evasive action and well able to avoid making contact. It's always scary when that happens, but our Caterham Academy drivers have already shown their willingness to be aware of what's going on around them as they make the way through the opening couple of bends. Well, it's been a brilliant start from Mulholland there. The CEO is already going on the attack. A bit further back, a couple or two. In fact, the CEO has moved into the lead of this already. Mulholland's not having things go the way he wanted it to. The rest of it now comes on through, but most of the drivers not deciding to fight their way through the Hollywood into Curve segment, and the old hairpin that ends it, understandably, because of the reason that requires warmed up tyres and a lot of experience under your belt. But looking back to leaders now, well, the CEO may be leading Chris, but it looks as though Mulholland and also a couple of other drivers are very eager to make an impression.
Yeah, remember Tim George also started 6th, but that was because he fell down. He was fully involved in that second, third place battle until it all went a little bit wrong. And we've also got McGovern fighting his way up and forward across a gap, so he's there battling, and it looks like George is going to go back down the inside of him as they go up. So he's made some good early places and be looking to join that front battle. Like I say, Hasio in the lead then, and Mulholland is going to have to just sit and watch a car, which has not been usual for him so far. So he will have to cross the line in second place for the first time in the academy, gaining experience at all times. As they come across the line, it's Hasio and it's Mulholland, McGovern into that third place. Then it's Tim George and Greenhaller, and then Prince Stone into the 6th place.
Well, it's going to be a move here for the lead. Mulholland's got a bit bored of being in second place. He doesn't like looking at another car, and he says, right, I want the lead. But the CEO, with all the experience gained in race number 1, battling his way through the field, I suspect here Mulholland's going to have a flight. He's not going to be able to shake off the back of him as they come down the hill. Battle for 6th place, a bit further back. So that is going to be Prince Stone and West Coast. So Prince Stone does take that place back in 6th. And well, the fan favourite there in the YouTube chat continues to fight for a spot inside that top 10. Comfortably, can he catch up to the top 5? He's waiting to wait and see. Field right now, once they go through these corners once again, we are starting to see the field spread a little bit. A little bit further back, we are seeing some great progress being made by some drivers. Man's all out from 16 to 12, although keep in mind that Stanton will also be trying to come up through the field, down in 13th at the end of lap 1, but watch out how quickly we'll see our 22 driver, Tom Stanton, through. That's all I'll say.
Just absolutely hanging the rear of his car out. We saw that in race 1 and it had it a bit costly in the end. I wonder whether he just needs to adjust his setup a little bit to let that rear end settle down a little bit, because at the moment it's costing him more time than it is gaining him. Here's Mulholland then right out in front. You can see again sideways as he went in. He actually touched a bit of the grass on the way into that. So just definitely treating the car with a little bit of anger at the moment, and we need to calm that down if he wants to stay with this lead group. You can see how the two at the front of him are much more smooth at the moment in their stage of their racing career. But McCullough is actually, he's just losing out. McGovern's losing just a little bit out in his middle phase. Prince Stone making some good progress in that blue car to come back into that battle. It's in the middle of the pack there, just absolutely just another position lost by Tim as he goes down the hill.
Oh, indeed, then not being on the right line, it costs you so much momentum, but it's all a learning experience here. And well, Donington Park, definitely one of those circuits where if you're going to learn how to drive a Caterham or learn how to drive a race car, you'll learn how to drive it very quickly, because as we mentioned time and time again, this is really a momentum circuit. You lose time in one corner, you feed it for the whole lap. It's not just you lose it 1 or 2 quarters, it all adds up here, and that's why you're top 2 right now. We see you definitely staying close to Mulholland, but using the toe to do that. But then we do have West and Dan having a bit of an exchange in the fight for 7th place, and we can see a sizable gap between McIntyre and Mann from 11th to 12, and then Mann, Stanton, Macklin and Kaskauskas together. Coming all the way back up towards the front, you see your top 2 running away off in the distance, and then it's none other than George and Greenhall together. Race they go, battle for 3rd here, very much on the line. Greenhall defending to the inside, around the outside goes Tim George. Get it done. Oh, he cooks it a bit too deep into the braking zone. That's to correct the oversteer, but in the end, Greenhall makes a mistake of his own coming out of the S's. They both make a complete ham sandwich out of it, and in the end, it's now going to be 4 wide as a result of it.
Like a gear change on the way in there, actually, from the green car there. He just, I think he missed his down change, and that just cost him on the way out. Maybe in a lower gear than he wanted to be, and just had no pull on the way out of that bend. So suffered a little bit as the excitement of being in an overtaking position just took hold, I think. But this is absolutely a battle for the lead this time, isn't it? So they're working together, they're pulling away satisfactorily from the cars behind. They've got a significant comfort gap. Can Mulholland disappear up the road, or has he got enough to actually keep hold of them?
It's going to be interesting to see. I think the CEO definitely now understanding has set the fastest lap of the race 2/10 quicker, but you could say that's as much about him being on the right racing line as it is the draft picking up, given the size of the draft. But more not able to shake him, so it does mean we've got to fight on. It'll be interesting to see how quick they close up that gap, because they're close on place. We see that gap normally come down very rapidly with the draft. Fight for third, meanwhile that's now 4 seconds off the leaders, but understandably they're all enjoying the fight for a good podium. And there is just 75 of Prince Stone with McGovern still watching on behind, but they are starting to pull a little bit of breathing room to the likes of Western Dan, but falling a little bit away here into that braking zone. Prince Stone here, but not worried this time, just actually take his racing lines.
Yep, this time they all got to take their natural racing line and flick it through that chicane. It's a really, really fast chicane, unless you're side by side with someone, when it suddenly becomes a lot slower and more complicated. But yes, an absolutely fast circuit. This has really no slow corners at all. Redgate is probably, and the chicane are the two what you consider the braking zone, but really they're not extensive braking at all, and it's only due to the toe that we get so many overtaking opportunities around here. You can see how often the toe is effective for these Caterhams, and they're learning that, and it's great to see these Caterham drivers all up and running, and then hopefully compared to the first race, they've certainly got everything underway, and whilst we see a little bit of a spread in the field as far as ultimate pace, and that just comes from experience and knowledge that they've got out there on this track, what they have all got is a battle in their hands, haven't they? In fact, that lead battle is probably the one that's most spread out now, with just losing out a little bit, not quite able to hold on just as we progress in, but yeah, whilst the battles are spreading out, they are all in a little bit of a battle pack by themselves, but they're all having a lot of fun out there, I'm sure.
Oh, 100%, that's what it's all about. Have fun, you'll pick up the pace as time goes on, get the car home after your first race meet. That's the equivalent of winning. Anything else on top of that is icing on the cake. And there we can see our number 33 coming through. And that's going to be the lovely clever machine of Dan there, currently completing at the top 10. Finding himself a little bit of a lonely position as his rivals are just up the road from him. To be fair, you can see they at number 23 they've been chucked through. That is George once again.
He loves sliding that car.
He's more sideways than the straight, even on the straight to suspect at this rate.
Yeah, I'd say really from the outside it looks like you've got to dial it back a little bit as a driver just to see whether you can carry more speed, because every time you're scrubbing the tyres sideways you're just losing a little bit of speed, and really you want to flow through that chicane rather than do that kind of jinking. But nevertheless, he will work out whether he wants to do that or whether he's very happy going sideways, because it certainly looks spectacular from where I'm sat, I have to say. And behind him, Prince Stone now having to defend quite heavily from Murphy, who's doing a good job of holding on in there at the moment. Behind Murphy, but Remo as well.
Oh, indeed, and Prince Stone right now making sure that number 19 can't get too close, but Murphy definitely picking up the pace compared to race 1. He is gaining time. But intriguing as well, we are starting to see personal best from all of our drivers inside the top 10 step, picking up the pace of many cars are getting lighter, understandably, so that's always going to help out. So all the drivers getting through, and there's always those little pre-race jitters, those little nerves, particularly when this is only your second formal race of your racing career right now. The first race was just to get that experience, in this one very different territory because they are going flat out for the full 20 minutes. You see your number, I think it's 60 there heading through. Who is that? I hear many ask. That is Holyhead. Currently running.
He is back out there because he was one of the cars that was damaged, and now he's put back together. I mean, he can drive home okay, because that was one of the keys to get all the way back to Brian. Driving his Caterham, so it's a good job that he's back out there and racing around as the rest of the field then come across. Yeah, Tim George still holding on over the top of Murphy. Prince Stone. Murphy though has made another place up that lap through. He's going to probably lose it as we go into Redgate, but making the progress in the right direction for sure.
Indeed, all trying to move forward towards the very front, and our lead battle is definitely now spread out more and more. Holland owns that gap now, 2.1 seconds almost versus Yo. And it is a further 4 seconds back. We do get to the fight for third, and we're trying to break away. He's going to move, but it's a lovely move from Murphy. And Prince Stone saw it coming. I think he wanted to tuck into his normal race line, then realised that last moment, okay, I've got to seed it because I've got, well, McGovern's not going to, Murphy's not going to stop that car anytime soon.
The car in the way, wasn't there? If he tried to turn in, he would have not had anywhere to go. It was definitely what we call a block pass, that one. But Raven actually got it stuck and didn't go out wide, so that's the main thing about whether it was a foul move or not, is as long as your car doesn't go out wide and beyond the expected extent, generally speaking, all's fair. Might not go down that well in the car that you've just done the pass to, but nevertheless, he did keep it all under control. But it is the number 67 then, doing what he did in the last race, which is give himself quite a nice easy time. And we're going to have to wait until we see those cars fixed that we saw exit turn 1 of the first race to really see where he stands. But at the moment, he is making hay while the sun is shining here at Donington, and he looks like he's got a nice significant gap over second place. Yeah, 3.25 seconds already.
Oh, indeed, Mulholland doing a fantastic job up there, and for CEO, to be fair, also credit where it's due, maintaining a safe gap for second through to third, that being the best part now of 4.5 seconds. So therefore, it's really battle for third place that's now really build up more and more, because you have got George, you've got Murphy, you've got Prince Stone, I've fallen a little bit off of it. However, he's being motivated along there by Greenhall. McGovern is there in 7th. West, Caldwell 1.4 seconds behind, but he wants to try and get onto the back of it and might be able to join as well. And we have Stanton, the man who started in number 22 right towards the front but had that stalled start. He's now up to 11th, got past McIntyre. He's doing very well, to be fair.
Absolutely, and what I'm also saying, the Academy run on a completely different set of tyres. They're not the Nova tyres that we run on there. We used to nickname them van tyres. They're a little bit better than that nowadays, and they actually offer up a significant amount of grip. But I can see in this hot weather that they really are struggling a little bit. Even down corner curves, you can see as the cars lean over in this Academy, you can see the angles these cars make is just showing that they don't have that rear anti-roll bar, and the cars are a little bit higher up on those tyres. So yeah, the weight transfer at the moment is a little bit more squishy than it gets when you go higher, but it's all about teaching you how to race these cars, feeling that weight transfer, feeling the balance of the right rear tyre, and then working out how do you extract the most speed from it. And then by the time you get to road sport, we stiffen up the rear of that car quite a lot, and it allows you to really work that car a little bit. Oh, we've got a car off, that's the number 19 there. It didn't look like they made it to the barrier, but
that's Murphy.
Yeah, so Owen Murphy out of the chicane. It looked like he maybe just lost the rear of it, but didn't go into the walls from it.
Murphy seemed to avoid the dreaded wall, but as the drivers all count, we have a one question in the YouTube chat, W Viper, Chris, which is, are these gearboxes sequential or are they full manual H patterns?
These are all full manual H patterns. In the Academy car here, they've got a 6-speed H pattern box, and in all the other cars that we're seeing today, there's a 5-speed. The only sequential boxes we've got are in the top level, who aren't with us here today, and that's the 7 Championship UK cars, and they have a 6-speed sequential SADE. But all these guys and girls are using an H pattern box. Heel towing is something that they're all having to either learn or work out how do you drive without it, and various things like that. So yeah, it's all about driver control. You've got a steering wheel, you've got an engine, you've got an H pattern box, and nothing else besides.
Oh, absolutely brilliant there. Definitely a raw route racing with regards to our Caterham and Caterham cars. And well, as we come back to the battle here for what is third place, unless my memory is escaped, as many incidentally built up. In fact, we have had Prince Stone lose out a little bit in fourth place, so therefore we might have had a bit of chop and change. I want to say, wait and see how they all come across the line, as there is your leader, Mulholland, and right now, well, running away. Although to be fair, to your point earlier, Chris, I've just been checking the best lap times to drive. We are, like you say, because of the warmer conditions, we are running about 2 to 3 tenths at least off of the previous best races lap. So definitely, they are struggling a little bit out there, but they have to deal with the fact that at the end of the day, there is not often as much grip, and that's all part of learning.
Well, not only that, it's because the air temperature's gone up. Engines really like cold air, warm temperatures, but cold air, and at the moment they've got to get that through a turbo as well. So the radiator and the intercooler is going to be working really hard on these Academy cars today to cool everything down, and yeah, that mean it can just lead to a little bit less. I think that's an overtaker for the Lacton race car, as we watch McGovern still deep in that battle with Prince Stone just going ahead and then West behind. So the battle's still absolutely raging in that chase pack, even though it's spreading out a little bit at the front of the field. Not that much that last time through though, so just made a mistake with one lap, which was to lose that 3 seconds, and just looking to get back across it. The battle's still up and down, and then obviously the back markers also just being dealt with and dispatched with as they go on their merry way.
He always makes it challenging, so therefore your top 3 with 6 minutes to go come the end of this lap, or in fact we'll recap them very shortly, because that's Prince Stone, Bantam and Greenhall at the moment, so the fight for fourth is still building up. McGovern and West on the back of it as well, but your number 15 driver Greenhall and your number 75 of Prince Stone here really enjoying a good back and forth battle. So this is going to go over until they see that checkered flag, and of course I think it could be a rivalry that carries on to Brands Hatch Indy in a few weeks' time. Wait and see, but there we go with our leader meanwhile, and and well, just looking absolutely to be in a bit of a surprise. Although, saying that, last lap, 8 attempts lost. CEO is closing up. That could be because of having to get past a lap down driver, but alternatively, it's the CEO here demonstrating the fact that he's a bit more consistent over the distance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's definitely that little bit, and you know, if you have got back markers and you're not sure, if you've got that much of a gap, you will take a little bit more care and caution. Whereas in your second place, you want to try and make every opportunity you can, so it might take a bit more of a risk as you're going past them. So maybe that can explain it. We'll keep an eye on that time, but it's yeah, definitely it's still significant, but has come down in the right direction as far as the battle for the end. As that goes through, but still happily Hussey and George still in that third place, defending away from Princestone and Greenholler McGovern, who have sort of separated themselves a little bit. Here is that battle as we're all coming back together again, so they're absolutely nose to tail for where he's going to be fourth place, isn't it, that they're battling for.
Well, indeed, the fight before builds up there, and well, here comes Greenhall up the inside, and in the end, Princestone just simply lets it go for a little bit, but knows he's on the outside race line. He'll get the better momentum out the chicane if he nails this exit. Gear changes and all, but here comes McGovern, and McGovern says to Princestone, remember me from about 7 laps ago. One back now, so it's going to be 2 wide between them and the fight for 5th. See there, West also thinking about getting involved. Also Caldwell catching up, so keep your eyes out for the bright yellow machine at the back of the picture. Could you have a go? Oh, that's number 20. That's Bedford who's had a bit of a spin out the old hairpin. Not the first to be a victim to the old hairpin, probably one of the last today who's a victim of it as well. Very slowly gets himself back up to speed and rejoining as safely as possible home for Starkeys.
I don't know whether that was a crane of curve issues, because normally you'd see them kind of on the different part of the bank. But anyway, either way, it's a fast part of the track, and you'll certainly be happy that you're facing in the right direction and back joined the race as they go up. And watch Dan Wester. In fact, Dan Wester is chasing McGovern behind them. There is that car trying to rejoin, I think. We have another driver, maybe another spin actually. So is there some fluid or something slippy on Crane curves, or maybe it's just the temperature is now such that the tyres are really struggling?
We'll have to wait to see. We'll find out if anybody else gets it wrong, although hopefully nobody else does get it wrong through there. But in the meantime, well, as on to try and rejoin him, we have had a change to 10th place off camera. That's Stanton getting ahead of Murphy on his recovery journey into this race, but right in the thick of the fighting at the moment, this is still fight for 4th place. Princestone has been forced back behind Greenhall, but he gets himself back ahead of another one of your drivers there, and as they squeeze the one out of the chicane, McGovern follows as well. Was also making the way past Whiting, your number 12, and now goes a lap down. Such as the spread of the field there, because it's had to weave its way, which was cars that have lost a lap. There's your race leader, and that's not the best place you want to catch somebody. You've got to back off through there, but at the same time, you've got to try and keep the car in. And sadly, I think we've seen the polystyrene board pass away.
And it is on the exit of Crane, so someone did have an exciting moment at the top there, didn't they, to lose it out and come across. So yeah, one of the polystyrene boards is no more, and will gently blow into the wind.
Oh, goodness me. Well, in the meantime, 2.5 minutes left on the clock. We do have a track release warning now back in my flag of the Darson driver. That being none other than Dan, and that's for a red game. A little bit excessive there with the run-off area, most likely of the opening right-hander. Right now, Mulholland only what is 2 laps away, maybe 1, most likely 2, away from making it back-to-back victories here in the season opening meet of the 2026 Caterham Academy Championship, sponsored by Caffeine and Machine. But as he makes his way onwards, meanwhile the journey for 4th place, it's still Princestone battling with Greenhall and McGovern. McGovern gets to turn his indicator off, but to be fair, that just means he's going fast. As they come down to that braking zone, Princestone goes very defensive here, but really measures it well, putting himself in the middle of the road, and Greenhall doesn't know how to respond other than tuck back in behind. Some smart work from there from Princestone.
Yeah, really good defensive driving there to carry the momentum on through the middle of the ground. It was enough to see him out front, didn't lose the momentum out the corner easily as they come down, screaming down towards us into Redgate in what is one of the bigger braking zones, but it's still very insignificant as they go in, and not really enough time to get a full break. So they'll be experiencing a full break corner a little bit later in the season as they go to different tracks with it, as they head round Donington in this 2-mile, 3.1 kilometres. Not a very long track at all, and very, very fast. We've seen them sort of averaging over 80 miles an hour. So again, think about going over 70 miles an hour on the motorway, and they're going quicker than that, and they're going and negotiating all these corners as well. It really does show what kind of speeds they're doing. It doesn't necessarily look like they're going that quick when we do these long camera shots, but believe me, when you're in the car, you've got cars in front of you, behind you, left and right, it all gets very exciting. So I think we're going to start our last lap not that long away from now.
Well, indeed, very true. And one thing that's very noticeable, by the way, with Green Horse, we saw him going to Redgate there. I'm not sure if you spotted how much of the pit lane exit he started to use. He's using more and more of the tarmac. At some point, he's going to discover if there's no more tarmac to be used, there'll just be grass. But meanwhile, somebody who's using all the tarmac just enough and keeping it well within the limit, it is none other than our 67 driver of Will Mulholland. And right now, one lap between him and back-to-back victories in this Donington double-header for the Academy Championship. And right now, he's looking very happy in that car. All he's got to do is get it to the finish. To be fair, he has been matched lap after lap by the CEO, who's not quite been able to maintain that pace as well. But understandably, for Mulholland, this is just looking to be the dream start to his season. So acclimatised to that car.
But dreaming of being a racing driver, and the first race meet you just come and win both of them. You're going to be thinking you're a bit of a hero at that point, aren't you? Long season yet to go, but what a start. If he just has to go around another 1 mile of this track.
Well, indeed, absolutely brilliant start. But that's not to discredit our other drivers as well. And well, coming back to what's perhaps not a dream-like result, it will be a dream-like battle here for Princetown, Greenhall, McGovern, and West. They're absolutely loving this. We're loving to see it, and we're right in the midst of that fight all the way through to 7th place. So we can see how that one ends. But understanding, ladies and gentlemen, we're giving our leading man at the time on the cameras now as he comes out of his bend, because he's only got 2 more corners to go, and he's been absolutely incredible. They've had to wait until the start of summer to get racing, but to be fair, for some the wait's too long, but for this man it has not been too long a wait to see that second win. There's the battle for 4th place. We briefly catch that, and then coming out the final corner, here comes William Mulholland to bring on home his 2nd win of the season and his 2nd win of Donington. He's the Donington dominator, you could say, and it will be behind him Barnaby Husio, who comes home in 2nd. We'll then have Tim George in 3rd, but who's going to come home 4th? I think it is going to be in the end Princetown, but that was Greenhall going to do it sideways, and West come through.
Well done, and then, yeah, absolutely. What a race across the lane. You can see how close it was as they took that checkered flag that time. So it was.